And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. Maui Jim Sunglasses, the choice of the best captains. Shimano Rods and Reels, fish with the best. Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray and rock cod Rick Mexa.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the Mighty 1090. As you heard from the first hour, Pete Gray down in the East Cape with our Palmas de Cortez Fall Spectacular, having a great time, and we are having a great time talking about the surf. It is the surf fishing day with our man, the surf fishing expert, Bill Varney. We are talking about it all, and there is some really, really good fishing to be had. There's some really good phone calls going on here, too, and if you want to get in on the action, there are 2 ways that you can join us here in the second hour of Let's Talk Hookup. First is with our local line. That's 858 area code 457-1090. That's the only line that's open into the show right now. It's the local number, 858-457-1090. You can also get through on that toll-free line. They're packed up right now, but there's going to be plenty of shots in this second hour. That number is 877-792-1090. Again, 877-792-1090. Or the only line that's open right now, that single, 858-457-1090. Not only are we talking surf fishing, we're talking about giving away some great prizes at the end of the show today. We have 3 lucky winners at the end of the show today, 2 of which are each going to win Bill's great book. It's Fishing the Surf, The Light Line Revolution, a fantastic book that's just completely full of the information on how it's done now. Surf fishing on the West Coast is not, I mean, not that that's not part of it, but it's not the traditional East Coast. We're fishing for striper with a 14-foot rod and casting out as far away from you can. The Light Line Revolution talks about all that great fishing that happens from your ankles to your waist, you know, and that's right. That's where there's so much cool fishing to be done out here, and a fantastic book that really covers everything. I mean, tackle, gear, rigging, where, how to catch baits, how to do the fish. It's a fantastic book, and 1 lucky caller, actually 2 lucky callers, are going to win that, plus the brand new 2018 CCA Sport Fishing Calendar, a fantastic collaboration that you put together with the guys from CCA, and a really, really cool calendar. And then a 3rd lucky caller is going to win the grand prize. It's going to include the book, it's going to include the calendar, and a custom hand-picked kit from Bill from surffishtackle.com, a hand-picked kit of everything you need to go fishing in the surf. A couple of great prizes today. Again, the only line open, 858-457-1090. That's your shot to get through. And, hey, I want to remind you, we touched on it a little bit with Pete. Join us for a fun and exciting live remote broadcast at the Kona Kai Resort on Shelter Island in San Diego. This upcoming Saturday, October 21st, we're going to broadcast from the pool deck surrounded by the beautiful pool and palapa bar at the Kona Kai Resort. There's going to be free breakfast, free mimosas, free Bloody Marys available, too. You're going to win some great prizes like a pair of Maui Jim sunglasses. We're going to have room nights at the Kona Kai Resort. We're going to be giving away spa treatments and a lot more. So be sure to join us at the Kona Kai Resort. That's at the end of Shelter Island in San Diego for a fun 2-hour live remote. Just enter through the resort lobby, head right to the pool area. Again, it's next Saturday, October the 21st from 7 to 9 a.m. And I'll tell you, we've done things at the Kona Kai before. Those guys roll out the red carpet. When they say free breakfast, it's not a McDonald's sandwich just kicking on. I mean, they put out a spread, a full breakfast.
It's a
mimosas,
beautiful place.
Bloodies, and it's all free just for coming up and hanging out and talking fishing and relaxing at a rad spot at the Kona Kai.
I mean, Rick, how could you not be there?
I will be there, I promise.
Look, I've been all over the world, okay? And when you sit at that pool at the Kona Kai with the palm trees and the wind blowing through the trees and looking out over the water, it's like being in Tahiti. I'm not kidding.
Life is good.
I took my wife there. She said, hey, throw those tickets away to Tahiti. We're just coming to the Kona Kai. It is a beautiful, quiet place. What a wonderful place.
I agree, man. It's a great spot, and we look forward to having you join us. Come on down. Next Saturday, it's going to be a very fun event for sure. Bill, the phones are absolutely packed solid. Everybody wants to talk to you. Let's start it off with Dick, who's calling us from San Diego. Very patient caller. Dick, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Hey, you're most welcome, and a beautiful fall day here in San Diego.
It sure is.
Bill, I know you go a few years back, and so I'm hoping that you will share your best Fred Oakley variety story, and maybe give a little background on that very special spot to all the folks that are out there today. And then on a practical matter, I'd like your recommendation on how to cure anchovies and mackerel for use in the surf.
Wow, great question.
Okay, interesting questions. Well, first of all, Fred Oakley, can't go on too much about Fred. Great guy. But Fred was my mentor in the 60s and early 70s. And Fred Oakley was a number of different things. Went to Redondo Union High School, was probably the best athlete they had had there in a couple decades. He was a basketball player, a football player, and a track and field and all that. And Fred was so good, but he loved fishing so much that when the Friday night would come and it was time for the game at Redondo Union High School, the coach would send out a couple of the linemen to go down to the beach and find him and bring him back.
Out of here. How
because
cool
he was
is
down
that?
there fishing. He was a great guy. But what his job was is Fred, for years, well, his whole career, he collected bait, and he supplied all the bait, sand crabs, ghost shrimp, worms, opali moss, mussels, clams, you name it, to all the tackle shops from Santa Barbara to San Diego. So when I was a kid, I worked at a tackle shop. I was really young. I was probably around 9 or 10, and I wasn't really working there, and I knew they wanted to get rid of me probably. So Fred came rolling in one day, and he said, "Hey, I need somebody to help me." And they talked to my parents, and they gave me permission. And from then on, I started working for Fred for about 8 years, collecting bait in the middle of the night up and down the coast and dropping it off at every tackle shop along the way.
Cool.
So he taught me a lot. And at the same time, he held numerous IGFA and California state records. In addition to, he was the 7-time world champion for casting. And he was such an unbelievable caster that we could go up on a pier or down to the beach, and we, back in those days, fished a 12 to 14-foot Calcutta with a jig master with 40-pound mono. He could put a 3-ounce sinker on that thing, and he could cast it so far that it would get to the end of the line and snap off the spool before the sinker even made it to the water.
Get out of here.
I mean, he would drive the environmentalists crazy if he did that. But he was really an incredible athlete and probably one of the greatest fishermen in the surf ever. He held the record for mako shark that he caught in the surf for 35 years. It wasn't bested until probably about 15 or 20 years ago from, of course, somebody in a boat. So he was an incredible
Wow, what a
incredible
cool
fisherman.
story. Dick, I'm so glad you brought that up. I had no idea, and I love hearing stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So he's a great guy. Now, as far as seasoning bait, that is something that is an old school method that's really not used so much anymore. What I will normally do if I'm going to use an anchovy or a sardine or a grunion or something that's not going to be a live bait, I will straighten it out on a paper plate and I will freeze it so it's straight, and then I will hook it once it's semi-unfrozen and use it in that manner. That way it won't curl so much and spin so much in the surf. And then as far as let's say we're leopard shark fishing, for example, which is a great sport to do at nighttime, I'm going to use a half a mackerel, a half a bonito. I'm going to use no sinker, about a 6/0 hook. Poke it through there, cast it out. I'm usually going to fish a high tide, go into a low tide for leopard shark at night. If I got a high tide at 11 o'clock at night, that is exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm going to fish from 11:30 on toward low tide and just fish that with no sinker, fly line it out there. Of course, that bait's going to weigh 5-6 ounces, so it's fairly easy to cast. Leave it in free spool, and those big leopards are going to pick that thing up. It's going to peel line off your reel, and you're going to set the hook, and it's like you're fishing for tuna off the beach.
What a cool deal.
But what makes it challenging is it is pitch dark out there, and waves are crashing, and you're fighting this thing into shore, so it's really quite exciting.
That's awesome. Those answer your questions for you, Dick?
Absolutely. And, you know, a shout-out to Bob Lindsay, who was right there with Fred and Bill. I'm sure you know him as well. Longtime friend.
Absolutely. And, you know, there's a little group of those guys that now Fred passed away a few years ago that are older now, that are fantastic surf fishermen, and we really need to glean what information we can from them while they're still here.
Dick, I'm so glad you brought that up. I really enjoyed the stories. That was great.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Appreciate the phone call very much. Thanks a lot for that. With that, it's time to find out what's biting on the water. It's time for our FishDope.com report with the man, your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen. And today, that catch report sponsored by Gamakatsu Live Bait Hooks. They drive the point home as Gamakatsu features the absolute perfect bends and ideal barbs to allow your baits to swim harder and longer. And when they do fall victim to the intended predator, Gamakatsu hooks bite back with a vengeance. All hooks are not the same. Go with Gamakatsu for infinite success. Let's talk to Dave Hansen, your saltwater guide. What's up, Dave?
Hey, good morning, Ricky. How are you guys today?
Couldn't
Doing
be
great,
better.
Dave.
The fall is on. The weather's nice, and the fish are biting. There could not.
Absolutely.
Couldn't
And
be
like
better.
we've been talking about this whole season. It's been phenomenal. But hey, I got a little bit of bad news I want to share with the fishing community, and we're going to pay tribute to the man here on Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning on the Dana Pride out of Dana Point. But a really good friend of everybody in the sport fishing industry and a guy that's been around for 55 years, started his career working for my father down at San Clemente on the pier, then went on to have his own charter boat in Oceanside, then took up another charter open party boat up to San Pedro there at Portugal. Mr. Ray Dwayne, Captain Ray Dwayne, passed away, and we're going to pay tribute to the guy. And that's kind of what I'm using my time for today, is to make sure that everybody that Ray touched in the community is all invited to come down to Dana War Sport Fishing and come down and pay your respects to Ray Dwayne. If you guys remember him or know him, come on down. Feel free to come down 11 o'clock on Tuesday, Dana War Sport Fishing. We'll get as many people as we can out on the Dana Pride.
I think that's awesome, Dave. Well, I'm sorry to hear about a loss of who clearly was a great guy and an important person in our fishing community. And I think that's awesome that you guys are going to be doing a tribute. And sounds like a fun day to come down and tell some stories on from a great guy.
Absolutely, Rick. Thanks for giving us some time to talk about it. And as we were talking before, the fishing's insane. It doesn't really matter where you go. There's a huge school of tuna on the backside of Clemente again. There's another big school of yellowfin between Clemente and Catalina. You just have to go, and it sounds like you don't have a boat. You can grab some sand crabs and catch some fish on the beach. So you have no excuse to not go fishing.
Couldn't agree more, Dave. Well, great job. There's great fishing to be had. That's the beauty of FishDope.com is in the times of year when there's lesser people out there, you can hop on the website, get a complete overview. Danny checks in with guys like Dave, guys like Mark. Literally every day you get the full update on what's going on, where it's happening at, how it's biting, the trends, where fish are moving to. It's the best source for fishing information on the web. Again, FishDope.com, and you can save $20 off of a new membership using the code at checkout, Hookup Now. Again, Hookup Now, all lowercase, no space, saves you $20 on a new membership. And Dave, again, 11 o'clock at Dana War Sport Fishing, a great tribute for a great guy. And if somebody wants to go fishing with you, jump on the big boat, have you come on their boat, a list of guides that you work with to go fishing with them, all that great information. How do we do that?
Give me a call at 949-374-0786 or look me up on the web at yoursaltwaterguide.com. Hey, Ricky, I'm up here. It's hard to believe I was at San Clemente Island yesterday, and now I'm up here. Me and my boys are fly fishing the Owens River right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places ever. Upper Owens fly fishing for trout is one of the coolest places in the whole world. Good for you, Dave. Have a great time up there.
Must have
That's
great
where
weather.
we are. It's insane here right now. The weather is spectacular. It's beautiful. All right, buddy.
I'm so
Go
jealous.
win.
I'm so jealous. I don't even know if I'm happy for you. That's awesome. Have a great time, Dave. For real. Good luck.
All right, thanks,
All right,
guys.
thanks,
Talk
buddy.
to you next week.
Appreciate that very much. Again, that's going to wrap up our Fish Dope Report, sponsored by Fisherman's Processing in San Diego. Those guys are very busy right now with that great yellowfin fishing going on right now. And Fisherman's Processing, they are San Diego's finest, there's no doubt. And that's why they're known as the Fish Pros. Once you try them, you'll be hooked. They'll fillet and vacuum pack your fish to your specs, as well as offer the best in smoked fish, the best jerky, and they have their famous tuna burgers. Check fishermansprocessing.com for more details, or you can see them when your trip returns to the San Diego landings. Phones are packed up. We're talking to John, calling from Long Beach. Hi, John. Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Good morning, gentlemen. I wanted to make a comment about Bill's seminar. I went to the one that he had last year in Balsa Chica, And it was pretty good. And, yeah, you do have a lot of donuts there, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's cool,
and all of his buddies, go along the beach and give you a hand. And, there's some real characters to boot. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I fished in the 50s, started at Old Tin Can Beach, which is called Chica now. And the fishing in 57, 58, it was phenomenal. And we would also go down to Doheny Beach every year and camp for 2 weeks and walk up on the low tide over to Dana Point before all that was built and fish off the rocks there. And we used bobbers to keep it from going down into the rocks. So
there you go.
I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. Now, my other tackle question is, I'm not really a spinning reel kind of guy. Is there a small conventional that you can use for that will work?
Absolutely. I mean, probably Rick is more versed in this than myself, but, the Revo, the Lexa, the Corrado, any of those small bait casting reels will work fine in the surf. And some people prefer to fish conventional. There's no reason you can't.
Sure.
And prior to, I'm going to say maybe 88 or so, I was a conventional in the surf guy, and I got somehow converted over to spinning reels, forced.
You're just you nailed it for sure. All of those reels will work. A lot of that freshwater tackle works, and I would take the exact same approach that you're taking with spinning reel. There's a lot of nice reels that are just not too terribly expensive. The Sitica and the Sienna. There's reels that are in that $100 to $149 range that free spool fantastic. That are a 100 size conventional reel will be right, but sometimes I'm a diehard conventional guy, always have been, always will be, but there's sometimes spinning is just a better tool for the job. And trust me, John, I get it. If you just can't do it, I, of all people, 100% understand. But, you're casting so much lightweight stuff in the surf. It's a lot of 1/8 ounce and 1/4 ounce and 1/2 ounce sliders and light baits. And, when you're casting something that weighs very little, the spinning reel just is the better tool for the job.
Absolutely.
Well, I would encourage anybody who hasn't been to his seminar, the next one that comes up, I think it was like $6. And let me tell you, it's the best $6. It's like basically having your own private guide out there tutoring you, showing you what to do, because he has 6, 7, I don't know how many guys, and they were all going along helping everybody out, and it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait till the next one. I'm going to go to the other ones this year as well.
I just think that's such a good call, and I couldn't agree with you more, John, and I'm sure we appreciate all the kind words, but what a great opportunity. And one more time, follow along on the website.
Right, exactly.
After Fred Hall is when you'll announce the dates. Is that correct?
Exactly. So the best thing to do is just go to my site, fishthesurf.com. At the bottom of the page, just sign up for the newsletter. We have free surf fishing newsletter that I send out tips and information and pictures. You'll be so stoked.
That's awesome.
And it's got the information about the seminars there, and it will give you a link right to learn about them, sign up for them. All that information is right there.
John, appreciate the phone call very much.
You're very welcome, John.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. We got more of your phone calls. We got more great information. We got more Talking the Surf. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
If you've been searching for that perfect inshore and offshore boat, Defiance is the one. Go far and stay dry is the Defiance slogan. And that is exactly what you get in these overbuilt trailerable offshore boats. Inland Boat Center has the Defiance you are looking for in stock, ready to fish. A huge 2.5-acre indoor showroom and over 300 new and pre-owned boats for everyone. Family owned and operated. Their customer service is the finest available. They take trades of all types and offer amazing financing deals. Check out Inland Boat Center's inventory of Defiance Pilot House boats online, including the Admiral 22 and the San Juan 25. Solid construction with no wood to ever rot. Defiance boats are built to last. It is the peak of the season, and the Defiance boat deals have never been better. Along with great financing, you could be fishing next week in your new boat for much less than you ever thought possible. Inland Boat Center, 681 East Jacinto in Paris. Check the website for the current inventory and more at inlandboatcenter.com.
This is Chelsea from Dana Landing in Mission Bay. We are truly the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Looking for a fishing charter? Dana Landing has you covered with the Blackjack, perfect up to 4 anglers, or the Impulse, up to 6 anglers in comfort and style. Dana Landing has a huge tackle shop with everything you need to go fish bay bass, tuna, or marlin, and our staff will dial you in. We even have Mexican and California fishing licenses and reel repair. Our deli at Dana Landing is a local's favorite with all the food, ice, and beverages you need. Hey, need freshwater tackle? Head to East County Bait and Tackle, the ultimate in rods and reels, the latest freshwater lures and live bait. ECBT has a staff second to none when it comes to sharing their passion for fishing. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check out danalanding.com for more details.
Saturday, November 4th, it's Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. Our largest sale ever. Seminars by saltwater experts, incredible deals on tackle. Over 20 tackle manufacturers like Penn, and the Fathom Lever Drag 2-speed reel, and much more from Penn. Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing, Saturday, November 4th. Check saltwatertackle.com.
This is Greg Stotesbury from AFCO. For more than 58 years, the American Fishing Tackle Company has been recognized as the premier manufacturer of precision-built offshore fishing tackle. AFCO continues this tradition today with an innovative technical fishing clothing line designed and built by fishermen for fishermen. From our next generation waterproof shorts like Tactical or Stealth to our new anhydrous waterproof jacket and bibs, the entire AFCO clothing line is purpose-built with the latest AFTEC fabrics and features designed to deliver for the demanding angler. To find AFCO products, go to AFCO.com and find a dealer near you.
I like rafting. I love whitewater. But I never forget that snowmelt in the river can cause cold water shock. I wear a life jacket always. Anyone with me has got to do the same. Save the ones you love. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
Are you feeling that itch to get out on the water? Come fishing on the American Angler and reacquaint yourself with some familiar faces and make new friends. Captain owners Brian Kiyohara and Sam Patella take pride in every aspect of the American Angler operation, from their loyal and trusted crew to the sashimi-grade fresh fish you'll take home. It's easy to find a vacation that fits your schedule. We have everything from day and a half to 10-day trips and longer. Call me at the office, 619-223-5414, or check us out at AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com. We want you to become a part of the American Angler family.
XEPRS 1090 AM Rosarito, Baja California.
San Diego's sports leader.
The home of ESPN Radio.
The mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090. Phones have been so packed this whole show. This is the first opportunity to get through in quite a bit of time. If you want to get a question into Bill, your question to win, or your chance of winning one of those three fantastic prizes, we have one single line on both ends, an 858-457-1090, local line open right now, or one of the toll-free lines just popped open during the break. That's 877-792-1090. Both of your opportunities to get through right now. We're jumping right back into the phones, talking to Rich, who's called us from Bradley this morning. Good morning, Rich. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Well, thank you, and good morning, Captain Bill and Rockcod Rick. Man, I was blown away by the inside baseball stuff you gave us about the halibut in the beginning of the show.
Great
little insights of the difference between fishing being lousy and maybe even hooking up. And
right.
I just thought that was awesome.
Thank you.
So along with the same lines, you earlier talked about switching over between fishing for the lighter line stuff, and then when the tide was right, switching back over to halibut. So I'm wondering about what kinds of things do you do to kind of manage your gear so that you've got both types of setups at your disposal, so you're not just laying it down in the sand or something, or putting it where the sticky fingers might be, or what do you do to kind of keep things under control? And the other thing that along that same line that I'm wondering about is we just heard a story a little while back about a yellowtail being caught in the surf, and is that anywhere within your wheelhouse, even though you're the light line wizard when it comes to surf fishing?
Those are some good questions.
Great ones, yeah.
I don't know what to answer first, but about the yellowtail, that was an article that was in Western Outdoor News recently about a big yellowtail caught from the beach. And I believe the young man and his dad were from Australia, maybe, and they had used some of the technique that they use there. Now, there wasn't a tremendous amount of detail in this article, although I did read it 5 times backwards and forwards to see what I could glean out of there. And that's an aberration in the surf here locally for a couple of reasons. One is a lot of those yellowtail are in the kelp or outside of the kelp, so from a casting distance scenario, a baiting scenario, that's not normally what you're fishing for, but they are there occasionally. And of course, fishing, if you're specifically fishing for something like that, you're going to be using braided line. You're probably not going to be using mono, because you'd have to have such heavy mono you wouldn't be able to cast it.
Right.
But other places, and Rick and I were just talking about this, surf fishing in Mag Bay. That is a spot where you tie in a crocodile, lucky craft, a Rapala, a Cold Sniper stick, whatever, and you cast that out from the shore. You have an excellent chance.
You got to tell the story. I mean, you wouldn't believe it, Rich, but Bill was literally just telling me the story about what your first trip to Mag Bay was like in the surf.
Absolutely. Well, I've been down there 5 times on a yacht. Which has been an 1,800-mile journey from Long Beach to La Paz and fishing all the way. But Mag Bay was one of the places we tuck into to be safe and to refuel and get some water and those type of things. And there is fantastic surf fishing down there. The first time we went there, anchored the boat, paddled ashore in the kayak, stood on the shore. It was good being on the shore after being on the boat for a week or two. And first cast, 18-pound halibut.
First cast. From Mag, fishing the surf, 18-pound halibut.
18-pound halibut. Second cast, yellowtail. So fishing is phenomenal. Cool. As a matter of fact, on the outside of Mag Bay, in Santa Maria Cove area, where the estuary comes out, the pangeros will take you inside the estuary to fish, but on your way back out, as you're making your way back to whatever boat you're staying on, or there is a couple spots on shore to stay there, they'll stop right kind of in the surf line there, and I am not kidding. You throw a Rapala, Lucky Craft, crocodile, the halibut will explode out of the sand there. You've never seen anything like it, and make their way to the surface and maybe 8 feet of water below you. It's absolutely incredible, and you get him in the boat as fast as you can. He gets that thing turned around and punch through the surf before you go capsize.
Really?
Sounds like you could use a Zara spook.
Yeah, you could use a Zara spook, too. No problem. The Zara spook would pop right along there, and up they'd come.
Oh, that's awesome. I know, Rich, there was one area in San Diego this year, South Mission Bay. There's a jetty there. And on a couple of occasions, there was a school of yellow that we would see very, very close to that kelp line multiple times. We caught some very big fish out of it. And on multiple occasions, I know of guys that caught yellowtail from the jetty. Now, it's not in the surf. Obviously the jetty is extending past the surf zone, but I know of a couple of, and some of real considerable size, 20 and 30 pounders that got caught as legitimately as you would sport boat, surface iron, long rod, and a couple of pictures of some good buds with a 90J and a Tatty 45 and a yellowtail standing on the rocks of the jetty. So certainly a potential thing to, like you say, it's like a striper. It's like a legal sea bass. It's one of those things you almost can't really target. You just have to be fishing the right gear enough that if you were lucky enough to have it happen, you'd have maybe a shot at putting it on the boat.
Well, there have been times when we've had plenty of schools of really decent-sized bonita that you can target with heavy lures, too.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Fun
stuff.
stuff.
A lot of good bonita fishing from the surf, too. But the one thing from the rocks, of course, is once you get that fish, that beautiful fish, that spot finner, that yellowtail, that halibut, how do you get it up on those rocks?
Yeah, totally. Hey, appreciate the phone call very much, Rich. Thanks a lot for that. Hey, once you do go through the effort of landing said halibut, said yellowtail off the rocks, the next thing you got to do is cook them. And we got the guy on the line. Yanni from the Fisherman's Belly is on the line this morning. What's up, Yanni?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Bill. Rick,
morning.
How are you guys doing today?
Couldn't
doing
be better.
Great.
Yeah, having a great time here, Yanni. How are you?
Really, really good. It's funny, but Bill just mentioned catching bonita off the surf, and my new recipe is smoked bonita.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Oh, my God. Listen, before I get into it, I just want to talk real quickly about my last fishing trip with Pete at the end of September. Great day. We ended up with some fish that normally would have gotten thrown back in the sea, and we would have come home with no fish. We caught skipjack, we caught small yellowtail, and we caught bonita. And I asked everybody, I said, hey, if you want this fish, take it home. If you don't, I want to take it home.
Right.
I ended up taking home the fish, and I made 3 great meals. I took the skipjack, I made poke with it. I took that small yellowtail, I grilled it whole. And now I've taken the bonita, and I've smoked it. I'm telling you, in Hawaii for skipjack poke, you would have paid top dollar.
Sure.
On the East Coast, getting a grilled whole fish, you would have paid at least $100. And smoked bonita, you go to an Asian restaurant and you order smoked bonita, you're going to pay top dollar and you're going to pray that it's fresh. We as fishermen can do sustainability at home by bringing home these fish and making the most out of them.
I know that on your website you do such a great job, video, put the whole nine together. There are some photos of all of the things that you did with that smoked bonita, a fish that we catch very, very often, readily available from anywhere from the bay to fishing on a boat, and you have a bunch of just fantastic-looking things, one of which I need to get in on that smoked bonita taco, Yanni.
You know, what's really surprising about that is you've taken a smoked fish that you vacuum packed, you've kept in your freezer, and now you're sautéing it, you're heating it back up. The Filipinos love to take salted fish and boil it or sauté it and throw it on top of rice. I'm telling you, there's so many neat things you can do with smoked fish besides just buying some smoked fish in Ensenada as you're heading down to Baja and just chewing on it, you know, all the way down. There's more to smoked fish than just that.
That's great call, Yanni. Well, great info as always. We'll look forward to seeing you go to fishermansbelly.com. You can see the great video there. And we're really looking forward to next Sunday having you here in the studio with us again, talking all kinds of great fishing and cooking and meals and great times and the like. If somebody wants more information on your smoked bonita recipes, more information on Fisherman's Belly, all the great stuff going, what's the best way to keep in touch with everything you're doing, Yanni?
Well, I mean, we're on Facebook, you know, Fisherman's Belly on Facebook. We're on our YouTube channel, which is growing. Please check it out, Fisherman Belly channel. And, of course, our website, fishermansbelly.com. So, you know, any one of those avenues, we're there.
Awesome. Well, we can't go.
I was just going to say, Yanni, you know, I love all of your recipes and stuff, and I have to thank you to the stars for showing us the video and the technique of freezing that tuna, using the grater, grating it up to make a burger.
Tuna burger?
Tuna burger.
Totally.
Covering it lightly in olive oil and barbecuing it. I have made so many new friends.
You know, food in general is like that. You know, once you become a pretty proficient cook, all of a sudden you're going to have a lot more family and friends coming over. Just happens that way. But when you become a good fishing cook, when you start to cook your own fish, and you get to relive that whole experience all over again, and then you get to share it with all your loved ones, and then your wife gets to say, go back out there and catch some more fish.
That's right.
I just need to back you up, Bill, because I agree. I thought that was one of the coolest things you've done, tips that you shared, I should say, and very easy to find. Just go on to fishermansbelly.com. There's lots of ways you can cook it, but if you just go to Recipes by Fish and drop down to the tuna bar, it'll show you the tuna burger that you made, and such a cool technique, easy to do, a fish that probably all of us have in the freezer, and a way to make a fantastic meal on something that otherwise you might skip over.
Wow. You know, that gives me goosebumps. I really appreciate that, you guys. And, yeah, a lot of people are connecting with me and thanking me for, you know, some unusual and some different kinds of recipes that they've never even thought they could do.
Awesome. All right, Yanni. Well, we really appreciate it. One more time, fishermansbelly.com is the spot where it happens, and we'll look forward to getting to see you next week in the studio.
Well, one last thing, Rick. I am bringing some fish, so I haven't figured out what recipe I'm going to create and bring over, but you can count on it. So be hungry on Sunday morning.
I can promise you I will do just that.
All right, you guys.
Thanks,
take care.
Yanni.
Have a great day.
All right, buddy. It's nice to hear from you very much. Phones are packed. We're going to jump right back in. And before we do, we got an update from our good buddy Captain Dave Hansen. So the service for Ray Duane, or not the service, but rather the come on down to Dana War Sport Fishing, relax, have a good time, talk some great stories about Ray Duane is actually on Wednesday, not on Tuesday. So same time, 11 o'clock, but it's on Wednesday, the 18th of October. So if Ray was a guy that meant some fun to you and you wanted to come down and enjoy and celebrate, then Dana Wharf, again, Wednesday, 10/18 at 11 o'clock. Okay, phones are packed. Everybody wants to talk to Bill. We're doing just that. Chuck in Long Beach, you're up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Hi, Chuck.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, Bill, being here in Long Beach, I've got a couple options on jetty fishing. I'm wondering when's the best time to go fish the jetty, and am I walking all the way out or fishing in between or by the beach, or what's the best call on that?
I think that goes back to what Dave always says, right? Just shut up and go fishing, okay? All the time is good. You know, Long Beach, you've got so many great options there, you know, because you've got inside of Los Alamitos Bay, you've got outside along Belmont Shore there, so you've got, you know, beach fishing there, you've got bay fishing there, you've got a lot of different choices, and, of course, you've got the jetty. You can walk as far as you want to
Sure.
go over to Cabrillo and make your way out the jetty. All of that is good fishing. I would always look for a tidal change period if I'm generally fishing. And, on the jetty, for example, you've got buttermouth perch, you got barred perch, you got zebra perch, you got a lot of different fish on it in addition to the halibut and sand bass and calico bass and all those things. So going back to the tip on halibut, I would probably be fishing those a half hour, 45 minutes before high tide, before low tide, when you have those peak tides, the tidal period where very little water's moving, and then the other times where the water's moving more, that's where you're going to find all the other fish feeding too. So time of day is important based on tides, not so much that I've got to be there before sunrise or after sunset. I think the exception to that in surf fishing is Corbina fishing. They have incredible eyesight, so those low light periods of time are where we're going to be most successful. But really, over the years, some of my best success on big spot fin croaker, up to 11, 12 pounds, has been in the middle of the day. It's like businessman fishing.
Sure.
Sleep in, come out, have a donut and a little coffee, and then set up around 10, 11 in the morning. You got good fishing in the middle of the day, all based on the tides.
You are in a great spot for it in Long Beach there. Lots and lots of great options, Chuck.
Cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
Awesome, buddy. Appreciate the phone call very much. Yeah, that brings up something that you and I talked about during the break, too. I think one of the coolest things about surf fishing is how easy it is, and you brought up such a good point about how easy it is to just participate at whatever length is appropriate for the time that you have,
Exactly.
If you're in San Diego and Orange County and L.A., you have so many great surf fishing options. The traffic after work is a nightmare anywhere you go anymore. Throw the surf rod, throw a spinning rod in the back of the truck, in the trunk, whatever. It takes so little gear. After your day of work, to just roll down to the beach, fish for a half hour, fish for an hour, fish for 2 hours, let the traffic go by. You're still going to be home within 20 minutes of when you would otherwise, instead of sitting in gridlock, but you're going to have an hour fishing, the best stress reliever in the world.
Absolutely.
It's the coolest, easiest participation type of fishing there is.
It's really easy to do, and of course you have a two-piece rod and your spinning reel, or maybe a conventional, and you throw it in your trunk. Your boss doesn't even know that you have it. And you get a cough at the end of the day, and you leave a little early.
Yeah, perfect.
But it's not only a great stress reliever, but it's a great way to get out and get a little bit of exercise, fresh air. And there's nothing more beautiful than standing on the beach, looking out into the water, seeing the birds and the dolphins and the porpoise and the whales and things splashing around. And, here's the truth about the whole thing. I've lived here my entire life. My family moved to Los Angeles in 1820, long time ago.
That's a lot of time.
And it was a lot less crowded then. Well, now there's millions of people. There's, I think, 13.5 million people that live in Orange, L.A., Riverside County, and maybe San Diego, too. But when you stand on the shore and you look out in the ocean, it's just you and the ocean.
Yeah, totally, man.
It's like you're out there by yourself again. And although a point in time comes up when you have to turn around and go back to the car where the other 13 million people are, it's a great way to spend a little bit of time and catch some fish.
It is. It's
relax.
It's inexpensive. It's easy. And all of us, myself certainly included, make excuses why we can't go as often as we can. That's one of the ways where you certainly can. You can spend an hour or two and just kick back and catch a couple fish, and you'll feel so much better at the end of your day after doing that.
Absolutely.
It's a cool one for sure. Hey, jump back into the phones. This time we're going to talk to Bruce, who's calling us from Lemon Grove this morning. Hi, Bruce. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, guys. My question was for Bill, was about the jetty fishing. During the winter, when we have all these storms, do you have any recommendations how to approach it pre- and post-storm?
Absolutely. That's an important point. When we fish in the summer here in Southern California, the swells predominantly come from the south, and they push warm water toward the north. And although we have some big swells, as you know, at times in the summer, and it blows everything out, in general it's moderate and there's good fishing. When the wintertime comes and all the storms come out of the Aleutians in Alaska, we have the opposite happen. We have a northwest swell, and we have colder air and wind. And what will happen with surf fish is that they will leave the beach at that time, because that's when predominantly most of their forage food is gone, and they'll work their way inside the bays and the harbor.
Okay.
And so when you come to wintertime, that's when these fish start hunkering down around rocks. And they'll originate normally around jetty areas, and then they'll work themselves inside the bays and the harbor and the estuaries. And that makes a lot of changes in surf fishing. And one of the big changes is what they eat. One of the big foods that surffish eat in the winter are sidewinder rock crabs or line shore crabs. Those are those little green and brown crabs you see running across the rocks in any marine environment, and unless you're 12 and agile, they can be somewhat hard to catch. Those are fantastic baits in the winter because fish hunker down in those rocks. They actually go in between the rocks. They're not outside swimming around the rocks. They back into the rocks,
No kidding.
in between cracks in the rocks, and fish 5, 8, 10, 12 pounds are backed into those rocks. It's hard to believe, but that's where they're, sitting safely and feeding. So when a wave crashes over that jetty, it knocks those sidewinder crabs off, and that's what they eat. So in the months of November, December, January, February, March, right around those months, the cold water months, that's my bait of choice because that bait is going to weed out the smaller fish and only be eaten by the bigger fish.
What's the best way to collect those baits? I mean, you mentioned, obviously joking how tough they are. Is it like you were a 12-year-old with a bait and a string? Is it turning over rocks? Is it scooping them? I mean, how do you get them?
There's about 3 different ways of getting them. Now, one way would be if you're young and agile, you can go out on the rocks and keep your eye on a set of 4 or 5 of them, and when they scurry off, and of course they all go in different directions, find the one that goes into a crack. I use a butter knife and just pop it out of there. So that's probably the hardest way. The second way, which would be easier, is to use a coffee can or coffee plastic can, whatever they are now, and put a little hardware cloth in the bottom of that, rub a little cat food on there, anchovy, sardine, mussel, any of those things. You put a piece of string on it. It's maybe about 12 feet long with a little piece of wood on the end of it. I'll just lower that down between the rocks on the jetty. You go out on the jetty and they get all the rocks that are separated. Just lower it down on its side, go down the beach, fish for about 20 minutes, and they'll run into there and just pull it up. So that's an efficient way.
But that's a great call.
But the easiest way, without question, is any marine environment where you have a harbor, an estuary, and we've got lots of those, and you find rocks that are about the size of a shoebox type of size, and you can turn over. You want to go down in that area, turn those rocks over. You find 4 or 5 of those under each of those rocks. Okay. The only suggestion with that, and that is by far the easiest way to do it, is you want to wear gloves whenever you're dealing with the rocks down there because they have barnacles. They can be very sharp.
Good call.
There can be glass there and so forth, and it can cut you up.
One last question. I'm fascinated by that kind of stuff. That's one thing that I love about the surf fishing is the catching your own bait and then catching fish on the bait that you caught. I think there's something so cool about it. How do you pin on? It's a sidewinder crab.
Exactly.
How do you pin on the sidewinder crab?
Sidewinder crab is very easy. You turn over the crab, and if you look on the bottom backside of the crab, it'd be like its tail. Let's say, for example, there is either a round or a triangular shaped flap there, which is their egg flap. If it's round, it's a female. Triangular, it's a male. So there'll be a test later on that. You just take a sharp hook. I'll use a Gamakatsu, probably a number 2 size Gamakatsu split shot, drop shot hook, very thin wire, or the Mosquito Ultralight. Owner Mosquito Ultralight. Those work very well too. And then all you need to do is just punch it through all the way through the body, pinning down that flap, and cast it out. You don't have to bury the hook or hide it or anything like that.
What's your favorite size? Obviously you've seen those things from like mini monsters to little thumbnail sizers. What's the best bait size to fish with?
I'd say about the size of a dime.
Okay.
There's a fellow, Ron Schmidt, out there, and we were talking about Fred Oakley and these other guys. He holds numerous state records for leopard shark and perch and stuff. He's one of the best surf fishermen that I know, Sidewinder Ron. And Ron collects those. And I asked him one time, I said, what's the biggest one you'd use? He said, Bill, I'd use the biggest one I could find. Well, some of these are really big. They've got some big claws on them.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, when I was leaving that day, I went to shake his hand, and I noticed he was missing a couple of fingers. So, I tend to stay around a dime size or so.
That's good, dope, man. That's cool. Hey, Bruce, great question, man. We appreciate it very much. Thanks a lot for that. Let's jump right back into the phones. This time we're going to talk to John, who's calling us from Mira Mesa. Hi, John. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Yeah, hey, I'm not losing sleep over this question I'm about to ask, but I am curious, is there a difference between short fin corvina or orange-mouth corvina, or are they the same fish?
No, there's definitely a difference between those two. From a biological standpoint, yes, there's a difference. What the similarity is that they basically eat the same thing, and they also both live in the same environment. And what's unusual is, growing up here and stuff, I had never seen an orange mouth or a short fin Corvina, Corvina.
Yeah, not the Corvina.
Like a Corvina with a V on it, and although they do have some similarities. But now we've seen quite a few more up here, and I don't know if, they're coming up in the bilge of ships and getting pumped out in San Diego Bay and finding it because that's what we're thinking about the bonefish. Maybe is how they got up here. We really don't know, but we're seeing more and more. And the reason we've seen such good surf fishing in the past few years, it will continue to improve. And I guarantee you on the show right now that in the next few years we're going to see a whole bunch of new records.
Think so?
For Corvina, Spotfin, and all that, is because we've been working on putting money back into opening up these estuaries, which are really the nursery, not only for surf fish, but for all fish, other than pelagic fish along our coast. And now that we've seen more of these estuaries opened up in Bolsa Chica, San Diego County, and so forth, had much better fishing because of it.
That's awesome. And, like you say, that's where feeding happens, that's where breeding happens, that's what it's supposed to be, and, you're going to get better distribution and healthier fish populations for it. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Now, Corvina in the bay, whether it be shortfin or orangemouth, as you said, we're starting to see in areas where we didn't see them before. Do you think that's just a natural progression of fish leaving that bay, looking for forage and winding up in, we've heard about them in some of like the Carlsbad lagoons and things like that, in Gundy's reports, and that was never a thing before. What do you think attributes that?
And as a matter of fact, they've been catching some on the open beach, up in the Carlsbad area and by Ponto and so forth. So I would presume that, and we found this over the years, that fish will move to where their food is. So they're probably in the bay, and then they go out and they're following water temperature or breaks in the water and making their way north, and then of course they're breeding in those areas, and that's where they come back to feed.
That's kind of like we said yesterday with the tuna. They don't have a calendar or a GPS. All they know is food and condition, and if the food and condition is right, go in this direction, they're going to keep swimming that direction, and wherever they pop up is where they pop up. They just know one thing. This is the water I like to be in, and the food that I like to eat is here, so I'm happy.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's a great question, John. We appreciate it very much. Hey, when we come back, we're giving away all kinds of great prizes. I want to say very thanks to all the guys that called today. We have several people still hanging on. There was a very busy show. Everybody's eligible for those prizes. We got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way with Bill Varney on Let's Talk Hookup in the Mighty 1090.
Saturday, November 4th, it's Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. Our largest sale ever. Seminars by saltwater experts, incredible deals on tackle. Over 20 tackle manufacturers like Cousins, building the high-quality inshore and offshore rods. Ideal for the Southern California angler. Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing, Saturday, November 4th. Check saltwatertackle.com.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
For decades, the Kona Kai has been considered San Diego's premier marina, resort, and spa. Now, with millions of dollars in upgrades, the Kona Kai Resort is a destination for travelers worldwide who can live it every day. The docks and services are the finest quality in San Diego, and the Kona Kai is the closest marina to the open ocean. As a marina tenant, you enjoy many benefits, including secured free parking, a deluxe health club, swimming pool, and more. Enjoy discounts at their restaurant, bar, and hotel. If you don't have a boat, there are memberships available at a very affordable price. The Kona Kai Club has been offering members a home away from home since 1953. Members can spend their days on Kona Kai's private beach, meet new people in the club's modern lounge, share a meal with family at Vessel Restaurant and Bar, or pamper themselves in Spa Terra. Check out ResortKonakai.com on the web for more information, to reserve a slip, or inquire about joining the club. The Kona Resort, like being on vacation every day in your own backyard.
This is Captain Tim X Markstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. A spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
Fisherman's Landing has been the choice of sport fishing anglers for decades, with the largest fleet of long-range boats worldwide, complemented by Southern California's finest charter and open party fleet. Now is the time to book your long-range trips and charters, plus half-day trips aboard the Dolphin. Go to Fisherman'sLanding.com and see trip availability, and even book your trip online. Stop by or call Fisherman's Landing in San Diego and book now at Fisherman'sLanding.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. All right, the big winners, each winning the fantastic books, Fishing the Surf, The Light Line Revolution, and the 2018 CCA calendar, which, again, is available, is it next month?
Well, it's going to come out. It's coming from the printer next week.
Okay.
It'll be in stores around November 1st.
Awesome. Well,
and everybody's going to love it. We've got some of the greatest sports photographers in the entire West Coast.
Yeah, no
for
doubt.
Sports fishing.
Well, you do a fantastic job. This last one was fantastic. July, certainly the best month of the year. But a very great calendar. Can't wait to see that again for next year. So, again, the fantastic book, the calendar, each going to Rich in Bradley and Chuck in Long Beach. And then the grand prize winner also receiving the book and the fantastic hand-picked surf fishing kit from surffishtackle.com, is going to Dick in San Diego. Dick, congratulations. Bill, can't believe how fast 2 hours flew by. Had a great time BSing and talking fishing with you. If somebody wants to grab the new calendar, all the great stuff that you do on your fantastic website, surffishtackle.com, what do we do? How do we keep in touch? Seminars, the whole nine.
A great way to keep in touch is go to fishthesurf.com. Sign up for a newsletter. You'll keep in touch with what's biting out there. Every time we send that newsletter out, it's got all kinds of tips on surf fishing and so forth. Fishing equipment, of course, surf fishing equipment, surffishtackle.com. And then the calendar's, getting printed right now. That ink is drying. It's coming out in the next week or two. It'll be in stores around November 1st. It'll be at all the tackle stores, all the landings. You can pick them up down from Rick or any of the shops and all the Turner Outdoorsmen all over. And it benefits CCA. So we're really looking forward to it. And there's beautiful information in there. Great pictures, tides, moon phases, records, you got them all.
That's awesome. Well, Bill, great job. Appreciate you BS and fishing with us, and we'll look forward to hearing some more great surf fishing information real soon. That was awesome, buddy. Hey, we appreciate you listening. A couple of great shows coming for you again next weekend. One last time, don't forget, live from the Kona Kai Resort on Shelter Island next Saturday, and next Sunday, Yanni from the Fisherman's Belly. You stay tuned. Next up is the CS Key Show. There's more on the Mighty 1090.